Hey, what's going on? It's Ken Spence. Just sitting there thinking for a minute. Something that I think is everybody views Jesus differently. I know some of you are gonna be like, well, no, we need to view him as a Messiah. I get that. But you can hear based upon how people talk that we many times view Jesus differently. There are some who view Jesus as he's always bleeding and crying. I'm not saying anything against that. But when you understand how a person looks at Jesus, it can help you understand them and their relationship with Jesus. I say that because there's another view that I've seen, like individuals like Jesus, he is the Savior and he's standing there and he's at the right hand of the Father and he is guiding and directing. And then you have somebody like me who views Jesus as a warrior who gained victory on the cross and has been victorious ever since. And it kind of gives you this idea into, well, why do you view Jesus like that? Not to say it's bad, not to say he's not all of those things, but it is to say, one, he is the Savior and he has saved. Not to access that, he has stated how to do that, and his apostles shared that as well. Sometimes we get into the minutiae about that, not doing that today. We'll get deeper into that another time. But it is something to look at and say, well, how do I view the Savior? And why do I view him like that? There are some wrong views of the Savior. And what I mean is the Savior saved me so I could do whatever I want. No, ma'am, no, sir. You can play that game if you want to. That ain't it. Some folk, well, he's a personal savior, so I have a personal relationship. I don't have to listen to what the preacher or the let me say it like this, because if I say the preacher, some folk will flip the preached word, as in I don't have to listen to really what the word says. So some people want to do, again, whatever they want to do. But it's like, why? I think if we begin to have conversation, why do you view, or how do you view Jesus? How do you view the Savior? And why do you view him like that? I think we'll begin to gain insight into people, insight into how people operate, conduct themselves. And then I think we can look and say, wow, okay, this makes sense. Now this is beginning to make sense. Now I can understand you, you can understand me. We can look at one another and say, hey, you know what? This really is starting to be clear. Because then we can understand how a person views their faith, their walk with God. If you don't understand how someone looks at the Savior, it can be detrimental to the extent that all of a sudden we don't know how to. No, that's incorrect. We don't understand how to deal with a person in their walk. Sometimes that's really what the issue is. At times is we don't understand each other because we don't understand how we view the Savior. What the Savior is very objective. That's very plain. You can't change what Jesus is. You can't change what Yeshua is. Understanding how you view him helps us to understand why you walk the way you walk with him. For some people, Jesus is a hall pass. That ain't right. For some people, Jesus is their excuse. That ain't right. For some people, Jesus is their guide. That is right. For some people, Jesus is their heartfelt Savior, their Savior who endured as they endured, and he can relate, and he is sympathetic. Yeah, you'd be right. But why do you view the Savior the way you view the Savior? And then we can come to the table and say, oh, I understand why you walk the way you walk. And let's be honest, if we understand why we look at the Savior the way we look at the Savior, we can understand our own walks with the Savior. God bless you. This is a thought that came to mind.